Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you gotta take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just gotta get it together. Get your shit together.
What's happening, guys? Superman over here, back with another video. Well, things in the world of Anthem haven't been going so well. So much so that a Diablo III developer by the name of Travis Day has offered Bioware some tips on how to fix Anthem. And even though based on the intro you may think the dev was trash talking, I was just having a bit of fun. No, not only was he not trash talking, he was actually paying them a massive compliment, as well as being a genuinely nice guy. There is some correlation here though, as Diablo III was treated not much unlike Anthem is now when it first launched, as it was full of issues. The devs were able to patch the game and fix all the issues though, and Diablo 3 today is a much better game than it was at launch. So having a kind of been there before attitude, Travis felt he would give tips on what he feels need to be corrected, having both played Anthem and been in their shoes before. Travis posted his tips on Reddit on February 26th, with the main issue he sees being the reward structure. Basically, right now it's the opposite of this.
No, I just need to get to a toilet. See you guys. Have it.
Dude, did Cartman just crap treasure?
Here, Cartman craps treasure, and in Anthem, the loot, or treasure, is crap. See what I did there? Huh? Alright, moving on. The first issue with the reward system Travis saw is what he called dead inscriptions. He said, quote, "Currently the game allows for items to roll inscriptions that literally cannot affect the item they are on. Basically, when getting your loot, the items rolled may have additional perks attached to them that do not work. On top of that, there isn't enough information provided to the player for them to know that items rolled may not be better than what they currently have, because inscriptions are unusable, which leads to confusion as well as frustration. The next thing to correct is the risk versus reward. Travis said this is a common issue that has even happened on games he's worked on, but basically the loot you get doesn't seem to scale based on the difficulty of the final boss encounters. For example, Travis notes that the Tyrant is much easier than the Temple of Scar, which is in turn easier than the Heart of Rage. And in Travis's experience, when his group first fought the Heart of Rage boss, it took them nearly 30 minutes to defeat it. After all that, the loot they got wasn't any better than it would have been had they just done the much easier Tyrant boss. So some balancing needs to be done, or the loot needs to scale up for harder or longer encounters. Next on his list is lack of incentive for random strongholds. This is shared with the risk versus reward issue. He says if the intent was that the quote-unquote dungeons are supposed to all be the same difficulty, then the lack of bonus or incentive to diversify which dungeon he runs is an issue. As in, if the reward for the longer Heart of Rage mission is equal to the much shorter Tyrant mission, then gamers are just going to run the Tyrant mission repeatedly, which A, gets boring quite fast, and B, will increase the speed at which players burn out because the game will seem to lack variety. He notes that adding a random stronghold to the harder mission quest like the Heart of Rage that has some kind of luck/magic find bonus attached is an incentive to take the time to run the harder or longer missions, as opposed to just running the Tyrant over and over and over again. Next is player agency/targeted farming. Travis gives a quite long and detailed explanation, but what he basically means is having certain areas where you're more likely to get certain weapons or gear as opposed to just doing anything and it being a crapshoot. So, if for example he was trying to get a certain weapon, then maybe this area has a higher percentage of dropping those weapons. I think this one is kind of subjective because I'm not sure everyone would think that would make the game better, but hey, I'm not here to tell you what's good or not, I'm just here to tell you what the man said. And he thinks that would make the game better. And last but not least, we have lack of granularity and difficulty.
What the hell does that mean?
What that means is the jump between the difficulties is too large. The different tiers are your standard easy, normal, hard, then the next 3 tiers are called Grandmaster 1, Grandmaster 2, and Grandmaster 3. It's in these Grandmaster tiers that the likely percentage to drop good gear goes up exponentially. The problem Travis found is, by the time your character is built up enough to where Grandmaster 1 isn't challenging anymore, and you decide to move to Grandmaster 2, you end up sounding like this.
Kurt Russell, what's going on? They're raping me! They're raping me! Get out of there, Kurt Russell! They're raping all of us!
game repeatedly rapes you with enemies that can one-shot you who also happen to be bullet sponges. The gaps between the Grandmaster levels is too large, and it discourages players from wanting to move to the next tier. So they instead continue to farm Grandmaster 1, which isn't even a challenge at this point, so it pretty much breaks your feeling of progression, which, just like the dungeon farming, A, gets boring really fast, and B, increases the speed at which players are going to burn out. Travis ended his post with the following quote: "I hope this sparks positive conversation about the parts of the reward system that need attention. I've been enjoying the game greatly, and am intimately familiar with all the problems that come with trying to set up a reward structure for a game of this nature. Hopefully, this is useful and can contribute to Anthem becoming an even stronger game over time." Pretty nice of Travis, right? There's also actually a great video I'll link in the description that you should watch if you have the time. It's by Diablo III game director Joshua Musquera, this guy. In it, he goes over all the issues in Diablo 3 and what they were doing to correct it. Well, that's the video, guys. Let me know in the comments if you agree with what Travis had to say or not. Also, as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next Supernova.